Well, hello, students. Hello, teachers. Welcome to yet another co-taught lesson with us, the Cobblestone Collective. We'll get into some formal introductions in just a moment. You are here to make art, and we're going to make art inside Microsoft Excel. Who would have thought that you can create art inside spreadsheets? Emma is going to show us how. Super, super excited, but let's just hold tight before we get rolling. If you're brand new to a lesson with us here at the Cobblestone Collective, we always like to start by acknowledging the first peoples that were here before us. Now, something interesting today, Emma, we have a lot of students joining us from the country of Hungary, which is very cool. Now, those of you, if you are from North America, there is a beautiful resource, native-land.ca, that tells you all about the first peoples that came before us. In Hungary, I believe you guys the origins are from the Magyar peoples. That's just from a quick Google search. But let's just take a moment and think about the lands that we were on and appreciate who was here before us. I'm on Treaty 7 territory in Calgary, Alberta, the home of the Blackfoot, Piikani, Kainai, Stoney Nakoda, the Métis. So many rich cultures here around me. So I like to always just think about them. Okay, so who am I? My name is Michelle Armstrong. I am one of the co-founders of the Cobblestone Collective, have the true pleasure of working alongside consultants like the lady here with us. Good morning, Emma.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Emma Cartier. I'm from Victoria, British Columbia. I am so happy to be here. One of my passions in life is just doing these amazing creative designs with you. I love it so much. And so I'm so happy to be here.
Fabulous. Thank you, Emma. And at the Cobblestone Collective, we are a Microsoft and Education global training partner. So we have to say an absolute thank you, thank you, thank you. In this case, to Google Canada for funding this. We know we have a bunch here from Hungary. We also have a bunch from Canada as well. So thank you to Microsoft for funding this series. All right, teachers, if you are brand new, this is coming at you through YouTube Live, so you can pause at any point. If you need to get things caught up, all of your students aren't quite ready, pause at any point. If you missed some instructions, rewind, and guess what? The recording is going to be here forever and ever, so you can watch it into infinity. Now, we already have a teacher. Miss Parent is here and wants to know, how can my students respond to you? Well, guess what? Students, take a look on the screen right now. If you want to communicate with me and Emma, we have a Microsoft form for you, and you can get to that Microsoft form by typing this into a new browser window, the cc.page/pixel paint. As soon as you get into that form, student, put your name in there. Let us know, where are you joining us from? And maybe, just maybe, you might get a shout out. And I have to give a shout out to Eva, who is a teacher in Hungary. Eva's got the link to the form. She just said, many thanks for making this happen. Eva, thank you for reaching out to us and making this happen. While we're waiting for those student responses, Emma, did you know it's coding week throughout Hungary, and there are a whole group of students doing different challenges all week long? This is part of the kickoff.
I love that. That makes my heart so full. These, coding and creative coconut, like they are our future. And I love the critical and creative thinking that goes onto it. What a cool week to be a part of. In Canada, we have ours in December. We have kind of like our coding computer science week, but I love how it's coding week. And Michelle, I can't even believe all the students. There's another Emma. So there's another Emma joining from Alberta. Amazing. We have a Kurt and an Ethan, a Pauline, an Emily, a Malcolm, a Henry. I love all the students. There's like so many going on here. But Mateo and Caleb, thanks for joining today.
I have to say a special shout out to all of you from Chestermere. So Callie is here, Ethan, Juliana, Kurt, Emma. Chestermere is just right beside Calgary here. So fellow Albertans in Chestermere, welcome. Thank you for being here. Wow, we have Zipporah is in Nigeria. Let's talk to those that are in Hungary. Adam is here from Hungary. Gina is here in Budapest, Hungary. Oh no, Claire, you have no audio. Hopefully you get that sorted, but feel free to pause, get that sorted. All right, well, we have another question for you, students. Tell us, what do you know about Leonardo da Vinci? Emma.
Well, and students, I have to I teach grade 8 social studies. And so I love the Renaissance. And he's obviously a painter through that time. But a lot of students don't also realize he was an engineer and a scientist and a sculptor. And he's really well known for these notebooks that he created with like the proportions of the human, like the Vitruvian man. But I don't want to give it all away. He has, or had, I should say, because he's no longer with us. It's been a few years since he's been around because I believe he was born in like 1452. So it's been a few years. But let us know, is there anything you can tell us about Da Vinci? Because he did lead a really cool life.
Yes, we have students on the ball here. Carlos knows that he made the Mona Lisa. Jacob knows he was very cool. Agreed, Jacob. Let's see, Gabor. Oh, he was Italian. Ariana knows he made the Mona Lisa. Alexi, Mona Lisa and inventor. All right. Oh my goodness, students, we have so many of you here. Mark, Ethan, Emerson, Eric, Terry, Victoria, Kay, Latanya, Patrick. Keep those responses coming in. We will keep trying to give as many shout outs as we possibly can. Emma, someone out there wants to know, what is a pixel paint? So I think you're going to tell us, aren't you?
Absolutely. Well, our plan today is we're going to dive into some conditional formatting in Microsoft Workbook, also called Excel. We, believe it or not, we are going to create, and I know this might sound like a lofty task here, we are going to create a beautiful piece of pixel art. We're actually going to recreate the Mona Lisa today. And I've been fortunate enough to see her in person a couple times. She's famous for a couple reasons, but one of the most reasons is it doesn't matter what direction you look at her, she's always looking at you. That's like one of the main reasons. But Michelle and I wanted to share some examples. So here are a few. We'll leave it with you, teachers. We will be demonstrating doing the Mona Lisa today, so don't worry, we got you. But we wanted just to show you that you can create all sorts of art with Workbook. And Michelle, we have a really cool, should we show them the really cool, like mind-blowing example on the next page? So students, this is not a Van Gogh. No, sorry, this is not a Da Vinci. This is a Van Gogh. This is Starry Night. Amazing. So you too can create something like this. Now, I don't have time to demo a landscape of this caliber in 1 hour, but definitely with the skills and tools you learned today, this is definitely a very doable option for you.
And now, Emma, this was actually created by a student of yours. Can you tell everyone how old was that student?
You're never going to believe this, but this was created by a grade 6 student. Grade 6. And we do all sorts of creative things like this all the time. But yeah, grade 6 student recreated the Starry Night in a workbook.
Very, very cool. All right. Okay. Well, we only have an hour. I think, are we ready to dive in to get started?
I am. Let's do it.
All right. So teachers, if you have Microsoft Teams, hopefully you've already got your students going. You've attached an Excel spreadsheet for them inside your Microsoft Teams. Maybe you even went ahead and got it all set up for your students. That would be nice and easy. However, students, have no fear. If your teacher didn't send you a template in Microsoft Teams, we're going to take you through this right from the start. And by we, I mean Emma is going to show us how we do this. So students, get ready. We're going to start opening up a blank spreadsheet and we're going to get creating some art.
Right. So students, this might be like a good time just to like big stretch because like we are doing this. So you'll see this is my office.com. I'm using the web-based version today. Either will work great, but I just wanted to put the disclaimer out there. I'm using the web-based version. The other thing you want to make sure you are doing or that you have done is in the top right-hand corner, pause there. So teachers, this might be a great opportunity just to pause our recording. Make sure all your students are logged in. Make sure they've gone to office.com so that they are set up to start creating. So once you're at office.com, once you've logged in using your school account in the top right-hand corner, I simply go to create on the left-hand side, and I'm going to go to workbook. Workbook is the green one. I'm a little bit zoomed in, so if your screen is zoomed further out, you can sometimes see, you can access it down there. So either is great. You can click create, you can do that, but I just wanted to show it. I was a little bit zoomed in so you can see it better. Let's go ahead and open that workbook.
And Emma, I am following along with you. I have my workbook ready to go and open. Students, if you want to toggle between the form and your workbook, let us know in that form. Are you ready to go? Did you get the workbook open? And as well, if there are any questions at all, throw them into that form. We absolutely want to hear from you. Oh, we have Yining also and Emerson want to know, well, how did you get there? How did you get to your office page, Emma? Do you want to just go into a new tab just real quick and show how to get to office.com?
Yeah, I can. I'm actually only sharing one individual screen, but just letting students know office.com. I'm just going to make sure. Yeah, perfect. So I did office.com. I'm logged in the right corner, but it's really just like a web search. Office.com up in the top, and you will be able to get to it. And then I hit create, and then I chose a workbook.
Awesome. So students, if you need to pause at this point to get yourself into a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, take time to pause. As well, if you have the downloaded version of Excel, it works too. So maybe you have it on your desktop, or maybe you're going to office.com. Both of them have conditional formatting, so it's going to work. Okay, we got Schmidt is yes, I am ready. Logan looks like Logan is ready. Jacob already thinks this is pretty impressive. Thank you, Jacob. Keep going, Emma. What do we do next?
I was going to say, I hope Jacob still thinks it's impressive once he starts seeing my portrait. But students, I'm going to give it my best shot. When we first open up WorkPrint, the very first thing we want to do is label it. So whenever I'm doing any sort of digital art or with my students, we always put our first name first and then what we are doing. So I'm going to go Emma Mona Lisa as my title today. So go ahead and title your workbook. Again, teachers, you may need to pause, and that's just great. You go at your own pace. So we've titled our workbook.
And Emma, just in case that was a bit quick for everyone, can you just point out again, you're just clicking up at the top, right beside where it says Excel, and you're just putting in that name. I love that, putting your name first. So I'm going to put Michelle Mona Lisa on mine. Awesome. Got it.
That's always our naming convention kind of in the school. You always put your name, you want to make credit for it, and then you always want to indicate to your teacher what it is that you're creating, or you could put digital art or pixel paint, or, we are going for the Mona Lisa today. The next thing you'll do, you'll notice in your workbook, all the little squares, which are here. This is your workbook. They're rectangles. And you'll notice in pixel art, or the example you saw earlier, that they're perfect squares. In order to resize them, there is a little button here. I'm going to even zoom in even bigger so you can see it. It's directly above the 1, and it's directly to the left of the A. There is a little white rectangle with, white rectangle with a gray triangle. If you click that, it actually highlights all your cells. Amazing. So I'm going to show you that one more time. If I click here, it highlights all my cells. And when I have them all highlighted, and it doesn't matter which one I choose, I can choose the line between A and B. I can choose the line between B and C. I can choose the line between C and D. As long as I pick one of the columns, because that's what we're adjusting, and I drag it over. And the width and I, Michelle, because let's face it, we've practiced a little bit before doing this. We did a width of about 20 pixels. So to us, about 20 pixels looked about right. I'm going to show you that one more time. So I highlight all my cells. I click on that rectangle. I find where my cursor changes. Notice it goes from the hand to what I call the parallel lines with the arrow. And then I drag it over. You want a width of about, 20, 22. It doesn't have to be exact, but you want them to look like a square and not a rectangle.
So far, so good for me. Let's just check in on our students. Oh, Zara wants to know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard is this for beginners?
Honestly, I'd say like a 5. I think when students actually start seeing it, they'll be like, okay, all right, this isn't so bad.
Yeah, exactly. And we're going slow enough, hopefully, that everybody can keep up. You're going to start to see, you'll be able to go off on your own at a bit of a faster pace. So far, Adam says it's really fun. I do believe, Aiden, you might have still been having trouble getting into that Google Sheet, but just pause this video, rewind it, and hopefully you'll get in there. All right, Emma, I am ready. I've got squares. Now what do we do?
All right. So I'm still a little bit zoomed in here. I'm going to zoom out in just a minute. But now we're going to go back to that rectangle. Okay, we're going to go back to that rectangle. And we're going to highlight all our cells again. So we're going to select them all. We're going to make sure we're under that home menu. And I'm going to need to scroll over here, but you're going to look for the thing that says conditional formatting. I just need to go over here and zoom out my screen and then go back. It wasn't letting me do it in the spreadsheet. So I'm going to go, see if it'll let me zoom out. I need to go where it says conditional formatting. So
Just
look
try
for
those 3 dots, Emma. So if you, nope, when you shrink your menu again.
There we go.
There you go. And then I did believe there are 3 dots. Let's see if it's in there.
Yeah, we
there
are there.
It is.
I'm zoomed in, so things disappear on me.
Yeah,
So
and mine, I see mine right there. So yep, I think all students hopefully see the conditional formatting. I've got mine. What do we do now?
So we'll click on the conditional formatting. You'll see that this menu comes up. The one that we want, so conditional formatting, and we want the one that says highlight cell rules. So it's the top one. And then the one we're going to go to is equal to. We're going to set each color in the Mona Lisa. Now, you don't have to do every single color that's in the Mona Lisa. We're going to let you, if you're newer to workbook, maybe choose like 5 colors. If you want to push your abilities, maybe go for 10 to 15 colors. You can choose. So equal to, this menu is going to pop up, and I'm going to show everyone once again how to get to there. I'm going to set the numerical value of 1. And scrolling down, I'm going to pick a color under my fill color. Now, you'll notice that I don't have the Mona Lisa example on my sheets, but I kind of have it ingrained in my memory. But you'll look at the example. I'm going to start with her skin tone. You can choose to make it as realistic as you'd like, or you can go, a little rogue and go your own colors. It's your own portrait, so make it what you'd like. You can pick colors that are in the theme colors, or you're welcome to make custom colors under where it says more colors. I find the majority of skin tones, like 95% of skin tones, is when you drag this hue bar to kind of the yellow orangey area, and then you can go as light or as dark as you would like. So I'm just going to go ahead and select a color for the Mona Lisa. and that's set to the numerical value of 1. No, don't worry, that was kind of a lot of information, so I'm actually going to show you that again, because you'll notice that I now have the numerical value of 1 is that color. Well, let me show you how to get to that conditional formatting again in case you missed it.
Hey, Emma, I
Yeah,
want to just jump in just because I wonder if students are starting to understand what we're going to be doing. So you said for conditional formatting, if my cell has the number 1 in it, it's going to turn it a color. Is that right?
that is true. I'll just show you. If I hit the number 1 in right now, you'll notice it has that color. Don't worry about the red number. I'm going to be showing you later how to get rid of all the numbers.
Okay, so all we're doing, students, we're using conditional formatting inside Excel to tell the cells what color to be based on the number that we select. Okay, hopefully that's starting to make sense. And I know Emma's going to show us how do we set that conditional formatting again. Show us again,
Absolutely.
Emma.
And the biggest thing, because I teach pixel paint all the time, this is like the number one things where, students maybe lose track, and it's so important. If you're setting your conditional formatting, you have to have all your cells highlighted. It's like mandatory, because if I just am clicked on an individual cell, it's only going to format that one, because I always get students like, Miss Cottier, my colors aren't showing up. You have to set the conditional formatting to all of them. So I'm going to go back. Mine was under the 3 dots because I am zoomed in. Conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, and our rule is equal to. And I've already used the numerical value of 1. I used that for my first color that I selected. So I'm going to set my next numerical value to 2. And when you look at the Mona Lisa, and I'm actually going to maybe pull up a design here just to show you. So when you're looking at the Mona Lisa pixel art, like here, this one's kind of a blurry one, but you'll notice that no pixel art has the same coloring throughout. So I'm going to go ahead and select another color. I want it kind of similar to the one I already created, but I'm going to go maybe a little bit darker on that one. So I'm focusing on kind of just her skin tones to start, and then I will go to the other ones.
So we're just now having just slightly different shades of a skin tone because we're going to be able to just make it look a little bit more realistic the more different shades we
Yeah.
have. I love it. I love it. I love it.
And graphic design really comes down to, the difference between like introductory graphic designs and more professional is really just that shading. That is the only difference. Now with my Mona Lisa, I'm going to just start, and I know it can be really intimidating to be like, hey, create a Mona Lisa. But when I'm doing designs, I kind of build my way up. And I'm going to start with kind of the shape of her head. And then I'll add kind of some hair and some facial features from that. So I have some colors.
Hey, Emma, just before we get going too fast, we do have a few people that are saying, this is fun, this is easy, this is cool. But we also have a few that are saying, wait a second, this is still kind of confusing for me. Emma, what if we had a picture of the Mona Lisa right beside us so we could kind of see what we're doing?
I totally agree.
Hey, actually, I have a better idea for you, Emma. Can you go back into Excel?
Oh, yes.
One of the coolest things inside Excel, you can do a Bing search right there, and there's a super cool Mona Lisa that I think is going to work great right beside our work. So, students.
Absolutely. I totally forgot about students. I left you hanging there a little bit. I'm so sorry. So under the insert menu, I'm struggling with the zoom in today, but that's okay. We can insert all sorts of things, pictures, and under here is Bing Pictures. I love that about it. You're able to search directly in Excel without having to go anywhere else. And you can even type in Mona Lisa pixel art, and an example will come right up. So you can choose. The one I'm going to kind of follow is this one. That was the one in our example. And I'm going to put it just to the side so I have something to reference.
That makes that so much easier because I know I had a hard time picturing Mona Lisa in my head, so this makes way more sense. We do have a couple more questions in the form. We have Austin and we have William that aren't able to access Microsoft and are wondering, can they do this inside Google Sheets? And the answer is yes. So William and Austin, if you do want to do this in Google Sheets, basically the concept's the same. You're going to look for conditional formatting, and you should still be able to make that happen. So great question out there. Hopefully everyone else is doing okay. So keep going, Emma.
Students, thank you for reminding me about use that Bing feature. It is amazing. So I have just set 2 conditional formattings. I essentially have 2 slightly different shades to kind of do the outline of her face kind of area. I'm just starting with ones, and all I'm doing is on my keyboard, I enter the number 1, and then I use my arrow keys to kind of move around. And the great thing about pixel art, if you're like, oh, you know what? I don't like the looks of it there. Just hit backspace and you can delete it and it's gone. That's the beauty. And you know what I love about the beauty of the pixel art, Michelle? When you are, making art in person with a paint, it's like pretty permanent, right? Well, with pixel art, you can see I actually put an 11 there. You can constantly be changing all of the individual cells until you get it just the way you like. That's one of the things I love most about it.
Okay, so far so good. You just made a circle, kind of a face shape with one of your colors that you set on conditional formatting. Okay, this isn't so tough.
Well, Michelle, should we show? So I also have the number 2 set. I notice on, I guess if I'm looking at her picture, there's a little bit of shading. Well, why don't I add some shading? I can add some of my number 2. I also notice she has a little bit of shading down here by her chin. So I'll add some more 2s. There is a little bit up here as well. So just adding a little bit of that shading. And I'm not really quite ready to do the nose, but I do see that there's some in there as well. But I'm also not worried about it being exact because it's my edition of the Mona Lisa. It's my piece of art. So I can add whatever creative flair I would like. But Michelle, should we add a couple more colors?
I think so, absolutely. So let's just see. There are some students that still are maybe like, okay, I'm not quite following. Have no fear, students. Emma's going to take us back again and show how she's able to control the colors by typing those numbers, and that's in conditional formatting. So Emma, maybe one more time, and students, if you didn't get your conditional formatting yet, watch this. We'll start from scratch. Go ahead, Emma.
I love this. So remember, anytime you're setting conditional formatting, make sure that you select all your cells. And to do that, now I have zoomed out a little bit. It's right above the 1 and to the left of the A. You'll click it. You'll highlight all your cells. It is located under the home menu. I was still on the insert menu from inserting my picture. On the home menu and under the 3 dots, conditional formatting, highlight rules, and the rule we're doing is equal to. So I'm just going to leave the screen here just for a second. You can see it. Conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, equal to. And when I click equal to, you want to set a numerical value. Now, to be honest, I think smaller numbers are going to make it easier. You could make it equal to 1,000, but we don't want that extra kind of labored typing in the big numbers. I've already used 1 and 2, so I'm going to maybe set a numerical value of 3, and I'm going to choose a darker color because maybe I start adding in a little bit of hair. So I can see that she's got kind of dark brown hair, but it almost looks like there's a little bit of reddish brown, highlights or low light, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure Mona Lisa would just it was the way it hit the lighting. But we are going to get a color, and I'm going to choose kind of that chocolatey brown. So I've set it to the value of 3, and I've hit that color. You can also see your conditional formatting set up there. So my 3 is the brown, 2 and 1 are the colors I use for the skin tone. I am going to add one more. So it says highlight cells with cell value. I want it to say equal to. I'm going to choose the numerical value of 4 because I work my way up in order. And I am going to pick another color for her hair. This time, I'm going to add a little reddier tone. So moving my way over here a little bit. All right, so we've added 3 more colors, 2 more colors. If you want to check your conditional formatting, you can go back there at any time because you're like, oh, maybe I forgot what ones I have. They will be in there. So my conditional formatting rules, whoops, I'll go back there one more time. They are in here. Highlight is equal to, and you can go here. I said, go manage rules. Michelle, should we start adding some hair?
Well, yeah, I just want to comment. I know I love how you just sort of randomly created an oval-ish shape and you kind of put in some shadowing. When I first did this last week when I was testing, I was trying to get every exact pixel the exact same, and I was driving myself crazy. So I like that freedom of just putting the colors where you kind of think they go. That is very helpful. Excellent.
And students, I do see that question. Is there equivalence? Yes, this works just fine in Google Sheets. I love the fluency between Microsoft Excel. Exact same thing, conditional formatting. So students, don't be discouraged. Both ways actually work pretty close to the same. So I'm going to add some hair. So I had 3 for the hair, and it kind of flows down here using your arrow keys. And I see that it kind of flows down her back a little bit. You can kind of decide. I'm going to thicken up, give her a little bit more volume on this side. But I'm just adding the number 3 using my arrow keys. And you know what I love, Michelle, altogether? She is coming to life already. So already it's starting to take that humanistic shape that they so loved in the Renaissance. So students, you are welcome to let us know in the form how you are doing. I know it's not every day you go to school and you're asked to recreate one of the world's most famous paintings, but we believe in you.
And I suspect, just like me, students are probably oh, they're doing painting and kind of forgetting to add more colors. I've just finally, I now have my 3rd color. I was busy with my first face shape. But I love, so conditional formatting students, if you just select all the cells, go to conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, equal to, and then you put in a new number and a new color, boom and boom. So yeah, I'm finding it's actually not that hard. You're just doing the exact same thing every single time.
I love it, Michelle. That was some really good reflection there. Students, I think we are ready to maybe add some colors. So I have 4 right now. I haven't done any facial features. I haven't really done much. So maybe at this time, maybe you want to add another color for shading. Maybe you want to consider adding some green for the background. It's your painting. You can go in any order that you'd like. I think I'll maybe fill in some facial features because that's what she's famous for.
Yeah, I would love to know, students, how are you guys doing? Me, I kind of think I might be a little bit slow. I only have my one face color. I haven't even gotten a chance to do the shading on the face. I haven't even got to the hair yet. I have my colors set. Now I just have to get typing my numbers. So Emma, as you are going to start to do some more shading in, kids like me are going to try to get caught up. But students, let us know in the form, how are you doing? Are you caught up with Emma? Are you even beyond Emma? Or are you like me, kind of a little falling behind? It's all good no matter where you are.
I love it. And you can review. So these are my rules. I have 4 different colors. I want to remind you, this is really important. When you are adding other colors, select all your cells. You can even hit the plus sign here for your new rule. Highlight cells with cell value. Our rule is equal to, I'm going to set the number 5, and I am going to choose an even darker color to maybe help me with some of the features. You'll notice that sometimes I choose an existing color and I go darker. That's just my little perfectionism in shade, in the color hues shining through. So I have a darker color that I'm going to use for some of those facial features. I am also going to add another one. So highlight cells with cell value is equal to making it number 6. I think I want maybe another color for my shading. I'm going to go back to one of my skin tones and then go a little bit darker. And I'm going to just add a couple more here just while I'm on a roll. So new rule, highlight cells with cell value is equal to, I think I'm on number 7. I know it's hard to keep track. If you've lost track, just simply go here to go to manage rules and you'll see the ones that you have done. And I'm going to add some green to get some background in there. I'm going to just choose actually some of the greens that are already built in. New rule, make sure all your cells are highlighted is equal to, I'm on color number 8. Impressive. So students, feel free to let us know what color you are on. So I have 8 colors now. I'm going to go back to my, and hopefully I remember what some of my colors are. If not, I need to go back to my conditional formatting right here, and is equal to, but I'm going to click here, manage rules, remind myself. So my 7 and 8 are my greens. Number 6 I have for more shading, and number 5 I have a little bit darker to give her some eyes, because eyes are very important on the Mona Lisa. So I'm going to do that now. Let's add her some eyes. So I have 5 there, and I'll add a 5 there, my darker color. And I think 6 with some shading. So I'll add a little bit of shading for her nose. And now, and it's just experimenting. I'm going to give her more of a regular smile today, just for fun.
Love it.
I want to cheer her up a little bit.
Got to give a shout out to Schmidt. Schmidt's like, oh yeah, I'm doing great. I'm on track. And hey, Mate, yeah, it's okay that you just had the blank face too. We got this. It's like, slow and steady wins the race. Awesome. Keep going, Emma.
I love it. I'm really just going rogue with the shading here. I did do, like I said, more of like a classic face. I'm going to put maybe a little bit more shading around the hairline. And students, I totally get it. It can be hard to keep track of the colors. Even I forget, even though I do pixel art quite often. And I do notice in the original, her smile is a little more subdued, but maybe I go back into my conditional formatting and I get, an in-between darker. Michelle knows I'm a bit of a perfectionist, but students, what I'll also show you, and this is what I love here, you can go back to your conditioning formatting. Like, you'll notice my color that I picked for her skin tone isn't as warm as the original, but you can actually go back in. So these are my original skin tones. You can edit them. If you're like, oh, I wish I'd pick a different color, you can. You can go back into each one of your conditional formatting and you can change it up. So if I want to make a warmer skin tone, I can. So I have actually edited the number 1. And now I'm going to edit the number 2. So if you do want to change up your colors, you can. That's the beautiful of pixel paint. You can just be like adjusting my colors. You can't do that in real life. So I'm going to show you now. I've like warmed up her skin tone a little bit. And speaking of skin tone, I'll keep adding some in. She's doing pretty good. Maybe her nose. Actually, I do notice in her smile, she does have a little bit of a darker color. So I think that, oh, it was my 5. That's why I leave my numbers in initially, so then I can come back to them. And adding in some shading on this side of the head. That's looking all right. All right, students, I'm going to just do one more color for shading, and then I'm going to add some background. I think I'm going to have to make it rule number 9. So conditional formatting, highlight cell rules is equal to number 9. And I want a little bit darker of a shading color. I mean, let's face it, the actual Mona Lisa would probably have, even though they're kind of all the same earthy tones, I would have no doubt that the original would easily have like 100 different tones in there. You can make pixel art painting as simple as you'd like or as elaborate as that you'd like. It's kind of the beauty of it. So I'm going to add a little bit. Ooh, you'll notice I did the wrong number. I was like, why do I have green by her mouth? Number 9. So I'm going to put some shading in here. I noticed she's got a little bit darker shading in here. And a little bit darker in here. So I'll totally leave it up to you. I am going to quickly just add some background, some 8s and 7s. Actually, my 7's a little bit darker, so I'm going to start with that. Imagine this is, actually, I have to look this up on the internet, but it almost seems like she was, standing in a beautiful area of the garden or something. So I'm just adding a little bit. You'll notice for the background here, I don't have a game plan. I'm just entering in numbers to get the shading. If I had more time with you, I would spend some more time, shading and adding different layers. But I think given our time together today, we've done a really good job with the amount of colors and the amount of design. And in just a minute, so students, this is like your minute warning. I want to show you some things you can do to finish off your painting. Number 1, you're probably wondering how to get rid of the numbers. And number 2, maybe you're wondering how to just and instead of adding all those individual numbers, is there a way to just get a background color? And there is. I will show you that as well. Students, if you've run out of space, like maybe you've started your Mona Lisa too close to one side, you can right click and you can actually add So I'll just show you here. You can always go and insert more columns. So either you want to make your painting a little bit more elaborate, or you want just some more space on one side. You do have that option as well. Just simply right click. You can add, I actually believe it's infinite, like an infinite amount of columns and rows for your painting.
Awesome. Hey, Emma, I know, we're doing some final touches. There are some students out there that have no option to create an Excel workbook. You know what that means is maybe your Microsoft account doesn't include Excel spreadsheets. Have no fear, students. Maybe you have Excel on your computer, or if you need to go into Google Docs, you'll find conditional formatting inside Google Docs as well. But the beautiful thing is, you'll be able to just pause this video, rewind where Emma got to those steps, and you should be able to find the exact same options inside your Google Sheets if you don't have Microsoft Excel. So with that, Emma, so we've shown students how we can create backgrounds. I think, are you okay if I present my screen to show students how far I've gotten?
Michelle, I can't wait to see. Show us your drawing.
It's, you know what? It's not bad. I'm actually kind of pleased with it, given I know I'm going a little bit slower, but hey,
Yay!
amazing. And so students, if your Mona Lisa is just coming along like mine is, you've got all sorts of time to just continue playing with this. Emma, remember the grade 6 student who did the Starry Night? How many hours did she say that took her?
Oh, I don't know. I'd say probably close to 10.
Yeah. So whether you want to put in just an hour-ish or 10 hours, you can create amazing pixel art. Okay, Emma, I'll go back to you.
And Michelle, I'm really proud of you. I noticed that you've worked hard on shading. You have 5 different colors, which is amazing. Most pixel paint that I do to start students is 3 to 5 colors. So the fact that, we're jumping of upwards of 10 in mine, I realize I'm pushing some boundaries and comfort zones with some of you, but sometimes that uncomfortable zone is the best growth. I want to just show you, you'll notice my,
Sorry, Emma. We have a Mayday.
oh,
Zipporah has some issues. It looks like that was that Microsoft Excel issue, Zipporah. But then we also have Nadine. Nadine's screen turned orange and then it won't turn back. What might Nadine have done to turn everything orange?
I think she might have set a different conditional rule. So there is a rule that if you put like a blank, that they'll all turn a color. So I would maybe go into managing your rules. Or if your whole, to be honest, sometimes it's okay to just start fresh. If your whole thing is just orange and you're like, instead of spending like a large chunk of time problem solving, you can even just simply start with a fresh canvas. It really just depends how far along your design is.
Right. Yeah, I would say, look at those cell rules. Mine right now say cell value equals, and then it's also showing like it's all of my cells, A all the way through XFD. So yeah, look at those cell rules. Hopefully that'll work for you.
And
All
maybe
right.
what we'll do, Michelle, is we'll experiment with another rule to like maybe show something a little bit different. I want to
Okay.
remind you that anytime we set a rule, we have to highlight all the cells. And Michelle, if you want to just flip mine back on, awesome. So you'll notice I have highlighted them all. I'm going to create a new rule. And sometimes, honestly, like I just see what I can do. So I'm going to stick with the highlight cells with, but instead of cell value, and so, to be honest, students, I sometimes just learn by experimenting. But I discovered that if I clicked blanks, so the blanks would refer to a cell that doesn't have a number in it. And I discovered that if I set my rule to blanks, I can actually pick a color. So I am choosing a background color right now for my entire Mona Lisa painting. I'm going to choose like a greeny kind of earth tone and hit done. Check this out.
Okay, I love that, Emma, but I got lost. I don't see it. Can you show me that one more time? I
I would love to.
couldn't find blanks.
All right, so we highlight all our cells because that's number one. We're going to go back into our conditional formatting, back into the highlight cell rules. And this, but you know what I noticed? I noticed there's kind of like two ways to do the conditional formatting in workbook. Because if I look here, it says greater than, less than, between, a text. It doesn't actually have that rule that I wanted to. But I know when this is up, I think that's what's throwing people off. And I have to be honest, it throws me off sometimes too. I need to be like in the actual rule. But now where it says equal to, let's see if I can change. Oh, cell value blanks.
Got it. So we're instead of saying, so it's highlight cells with cell value, but then instead of cell value, it's blank.
It's blanks.
Got it.
And then from there, it's just a matter of selecting a color. And you can adjust with that. Like sometimes, this is just the way that I am. Michelle knows I'm super picky. You can just be adjusting it around. You could try, a couple times to get the background color just the way you want it. So I now have a background color. But Michelle, you'll notice my Mona Lisa still has numbers all over it. And although, Da Vinci loved engineering and numbers, I do think, a final piece of art shouldn't have them. So let me show you, students, just how you would finish off your Mona Lisa. Again, select all your cells. We're going to go back to our conditional formatting. And to be honest, sometimes to get into my rules, I'll just like click as if I'm making a new rule. And then I go back to manage rules. We need to go in and edit each one. If you scroll down, you'll notice that each one has a default text color of the red. We need to match the font color to this fill color. And this can be really tricky if you have a lot of colors. So sometimes it takes me a couple tries to match it just fine, just right. So I think I've done that one. So that one has matched. Then I'm moving into my next one. And that's a beautiful of pixel paint, but I am attempting to match my colors. And you will know that you don't get it quite right. Like if you see down here, it doesn't quite match. You can just adjust it. So you shouldn't see any text down here if they have them matched correctly. Now I want to show you how to get there again before I go in and adjust them all. So you notice I have done really just only a couple of them, but highlight all your cells, conditional formatting, just go to like kind of make a rule if you need to, but then manage your rules. And you are matching your font color to your fill color. So scrolling down, this font color, which has a default of red, you want to match it. You'll know that it's matched when you don't see those red numbers, and you can see them start to disappear in my painting. So for my number 8, edit, and changing the fill color to the green. It's matched. I don't see it. I hit done and moving along. So you can imagine this could be a bit of an intensive process if you have a lot of colors. You could even, the more you get comfortable with pixel paint, you could be matching as you go as well. Edit here, matching my font color to my fill color. And you'll see them slowly disappearing in my Mona Lisa. And this is where that like magic starts to happen. This is my darker color. I'm almost done here. I have a couple more to go. I'm editing, and I know Michelle's probably like fiercely probably trying to get rid of her colors as well. And Michelle, look at this. I only have two more to go, and then students, you will see my Mona Lisa. And honestly, I think you all deserve like a huge pat on your back today. Oh, I didn't quite match that one. I can still see the text.
I did do this, Emma, and because I had less colors, it was a bit quicker for me. But one thing I found, so sometimes my color was in my custom color, so that was easy. But other times it's like, oh no, what color did I pick? But I just clicked on the paint bucket first and saw, oh, that's the color. And then I changed the text color. So that's what worked for me. Students.
Ooh, Michelle just gave us a little bit.
I want to give a shout out to the students in Hungary. It sounds to me like there's a bunch of them sharing their artwork through their chats. So great job, those of you guys out there. Hopefully all students, you're taking a moment to take a peek over at your friends' artwork. I think in one short hour, Emma, this is pretty great.
Thank you.
And we only have about 4 minutes left. Students, do you want to let us know in the forum, how far did you get? What did you think? And I think most importantly, are you going to keep going with your artwork? Emma, how many pieces of pixel art do you think you've done before?
To be honest, probably not as many as you think, because you know what, I demo it all the time, but I don't always see it through to like a final piece. But I would say 10 to 20 actually. So not even a crazy amount. I just want to give a shout out to Microsoft as well. When you finish removing, it takes away your grid lines. Like when you fill color it. And I have to just say that this is like the most genius thing, because I didn't remove the grid lines.
Right.
When I fill colored that background color, it did it for me.
And it knew that, yes, of course, the grid lines need to be colored too. Very, very clever. Hey, I think we have another question for the students. So what is one thing you learned about Excel workbooks? It removes grid lines. We have Gabby in Hungary said this has been super fun. We have a bunch of motivated students. Oh, we have students in Hungary that want to share their work with us. Teachers, if you have student work that you want to share with us, by all means, just respond to that email that got you here and share your student artwork with us. We would love, love, love to see it. Looks like Victoria K has to go. So goodbye to you, Victoria. Thanks so much for being here. We have students who say, we didn't finish. That's okay. I'm certainly not finished either. I'm going to work on this a little bit more. I'm kind of excited about what I can create with this.
And students, just be proud. Like this is a big undertaking, and it's just about learning, and this is a version of coding too. Like coding can be creative, it can be beautiful, and I'm super proud of all of you and your designs today. I would love to see some of your finished pieces.
Yes, absolutely. So Balint learned that you could draw inside Excel. Yes. Mark learned conditional formatting. Never even used that before. So that is great. All right, students. Benedict had no idea that you could do this kind of coloring inside Excel. Thank you for that. Oh my goodness. Someone's classmate drew a Santa Claus. I would love to see that. Great job out there. Well, Emma, I think we are at time. I would love to again say another huge shout out to Microsoft for funding this. Shout out to all of you teachers for bringing your students here as well. Students, thank you so much for being here and creating amazing art with us. Emma as well. Thank you for bringing your knowledge of Excel spreadsheets to us. And we sure do hope to see you guys in another lesson soon. But with that, we will say goodbye for now. Take care.
Bye, everyone.